Oh man, I'm proper wiped out. Today even worse than yesterday. I think I've overdone the core from the other day. Did too many sets with sit-ups and really caught up with me. Hip flexors are sore properly today. Abs are properly sore today. CNS is wiped out. I just slept 10 hours, even though I woke up 3 or 4 times because of the baby, but I slept a lot, and I woke up, and when you can't even clench your fist together, you're you're pretty tired. Dragged myself into the garage today, and I knew it from the moment I woke up that it wasn't going to be good. But you never know. That's one thing I've learned with the body. It's always murky waters with it, man. Like, you never know. So yeah, I got up to 140, felt horrible, felt my hip flexors screaming, felt my quads screaming. My quads are also a bit jelly from yesterday, from the belt squat. So man, I've got not much to work with today. So today being the hamstring day, I thought, I'll do a couple of sets of the GHD back raises. Haven't done those in a little while. I've been going to the gym and doing the standing or the kneeling hamstring curls. I thought, let's mix it up. It's been a little while of doing that now. Let's do hamstring curls. Let's do back raises. Got a nice little pump in the hamstrings. Only did 3 sets of 30. Whatever. I need to recover. I need to rest. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's too many things like this that can wipe you out. Obviously, you can take anything to absolute, crazy volumes and get fatigued centrally. But there's something about hip flexion exercises. There's something about sit-ups. I have felt this in the past. The last session actually that I did, so this is the 3rd session of sit-ups since I made that revelation. And the 2nd session, I could barely do any volume because I had real pains, really down low abs, like not the right type of pains you want to have, like sharp, almost tearing pain after a few sets. So I didn't do a lot of sets there because it felt like, I might pull a rectus abdominis muscle. So I went crazy day 1, very mild day 2, and day 3, which was a few days ago. I went pretty hard as well, and really, really wiped me out. Hip flexors and quads, that relationship there is an interesting one. Without them, it seems as though I want to lean forward. And today I felt like I was leaning forward. I don't know if it's going to be visible on the video, but it felt like I was working around the hip flexors and the quads. So I was sticking my butt back even more so. I was trying to look up and I was trying to get into them, but they were not very happy with the load. So it was kind of like, let's stick the butt back and turn off the hamstrings, turn off the hip flexors and the quads. Whereas when I did the 215, I was like, no, I'm good here. Send it all forward. And then when I send it all forward, then the back doesn't have to do as much, and then it's like a perfect union between the front and the back. But without one side working, then the other one cops it all, and then you can't function like that. And it would be okay if like, let's say the quads and the hip flexors were tied, and they can just switch off and let the posterior chain go about it. It's not just that they are doing that; it's also that they are hurting. Like there's soreness there. So it's like a negative influence, not just a zero influence. It's a negative influence. So, and then obviously, when you're sore, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. When you're sore, you tend to have like a central fog and fatigue, malaise, lethargy. Like you tend to have that as well. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to clench my fist and there's not a lot of, bite there. So I'm tired. Basically, I'm tired. And it's interesting because I've done crazy volumes with the hack squat in the last month or so. I remember once I was at the gym, Mrs. messages me and she's like, hey, can you get the kids from school? Yeah, no worries, I can do that. Look at the clock and I'm like, man, I've got 45 minutes to kill and I'm at the end of the session. I've done my 5 sets of 10 on hack squat. So what do I do now? Well, I can drive to the school and sit in the car for 30, 40 minutes, or I can just do more hack squats. So I did that. And a couple of the fellas at the gym there, I was like, I kept going and going. They're like, man, you've been in this freaking machine for an hour. What are you doing? And then when I said to them about the school pickup and whatever, they're like, you are nuts. So I've done all of that, and the next day I wake up, yeah, sure, the quads are a little bit sore, but I'm not wiped out. Like, I'm not having trouble clenching my fist. I was still able to hit like 180 or 200, whatever it was the following day. But core flexion, spinal flexion, spine, anything with spine, and it's just, it just wipes you out, man. It's not even the first session, right? Like, this is the third session in as many weeks of doing core or doing the sit-ups. So it's not even like a novel thing, right? Like, the first session would have been the big one. This one wiped me out. It is what it is. The body needs a rest. The body's going to get a rest. So tomorrow, I go into 2-day stretch of upper body push and then pull the following day. So hopefully, the hip flexors are going to chill out a little bit. But this is the benefit. This is what I think. This is the benefit of having a dedicated core day. Because if you don't, then it gets murky, right? What if you overdo it one day with hip flexors? And how do you go about it? It's going to impact everything else. Whereas if you just say, okay, I've done core the other day, I've got like 5 days off now. So hopefully by the 4th, 5th day, I'm going to be really strong again, because all of that DOMS, all of that soreness, all of that recovery has dissipated, and it's kind of like washed away, and I'm strong again. So it's kind of like if you're trying to plot all of these recovery points on a graph, and you have your core, you have the back, you have the legs, and you start to kind of see these recovery, lines on a graph, you kind of want to line them up in such where they don't interrupt each other, right? So cool, no worries. The quads are going to be sore for the next 2 days. Cool, but I'm not training the legs anymore for the next 3 days. I've got other things I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing, push and pull upper body. So that's kind of cool. Cool, no worries. And by the time I get back to the legs, they would have had a really solid 4 days of recovery, and I can go again. So it's kind of like, I think about that sometimes. And, when you're doing full body training every day, it just gets awfully murky. Like, where's which line? It's like, it's very hard to plan. And then you start to, auto-regulate solely and go by feel. And it gets kind of like, you can call these shorts, but it gets very difficult. Like this, cool, no worries. I'm not doing core for the next 5 days. Done. Next time I rock up for core, I should be ready. And you just keep on stacking the chips that way. Appreciate you guys. Let me get out of here and go to work. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.